Movement has always been one of the most overlooked aspects of Fortnite, but this season with the addition of sliding, this mechanic has reached new heights that we still have to discover. My name is Blue and today we'll discuss movement. There are three main applications of movement: while building, while fighting and normal. And just to begin, movement is basically how you conserve your momentum, or in human how fast you remain while changing direction. You all know the basics of movement: strafing, sprinting, strafing, WASD. Controller has 360 movement. On keyboard you can spin forward and to the diagonal sides, or you have double movement. On controller you're free as a bird. Let's talk about... This is the most overlooked one, and I'm just going to throw some terms at you, so don't ask, just accept that there will be a more in-depth guide one day. Momentum conservation. Sounds deep, but isn't. It means how fast you can remain while changing direction. Practically, it's how many keys you're pressing, or on controller how often you move your stick. Airtime. Airtime is the time between jumps. You want to keep this as low as possible, given that the longer you are in the air, the more you waste momentum, because you're faster running than in the air jumping. Optimization. Optimization is a bit deeper, but it's avoiding unnecessary extra movement. Basically, it's avoiding side strafing when there is no need for it. The physics reason is that there are weird things called vectors, and those are basically arrows. If you have to sum a lot of arrows, then you lose momentum. A vector or arrow is created by a movement input, which means if you just have to press W, you basically just reduce the amount of arrows you have, which means you conserve as much momentum as you have. Meanwhile, pressing WA, you have two arrows, so you basically have to sum them, you lose momentum. Now, this is a lot of nerdy stuff. Just look at this example, it's pretty practical. You can see one is faster, the other one isn't. The one on the left has just W, the one on the right is WA. Well, as you saw, the difference wasn't that insane, but truly this was a simple move. You really can't do anything too deep with it. But more complex moves become more optimizable, aka they will be affected more if you don't have good optimization. But now I want to talk about keybinds. You want in theory to be able to hold WASD in any situation. But this is unrealistic, therefore all you need is to be able to press WA or WD. Taking reverse 90 as an example, the direction you will do them depends on which one you can press, like WA or WD. Obviously all our binds will affect this as well. Let's say you add it with F, you should do like reverse 90s with WA, given that if you had to do them with WD and had to edit something, you would have to let go of D to press F, and therefore lose momentum. Another unpopular method is to move with WASB and use your thumb to press B. This frees up your index finger for virtually anything. Now let's apply this knowledge. Look at this reverse 90 and tell me what's wrong. The answers are: I'm strafing inwards, aka my vectors are pointing here, therefore I'm losing momentum. Airtime is off, which means that I could be even faster. We haven't touched on this yet, but this is important because the direction you're facing is the one that you're going. Basically, you're moving in the direction your cursor is pointing at, which once again means that if I'm looking all the way here, I'm losing momentum. Therefore, cursor placement is crucial for maintaining good movement, more optimizing good movement. While sliding affects movement, while building it's not going to do that much. I want to precise that I mean retakes when I say building. Box fight and stuff will come under fighting. Well, let's talk about sliding, shall we? Contrary to what I thought, you aren't faster trying to slide cancel on flat ground at least. It still feels a bit cooler, therefore it's acceptable in my eyes. You can see in this comparison it's actually pretty much the same thing. Anyway, Raider464 already showed some application of this mechanic. To avoid wasting time, I'm just showing you the most relevant as of right now. The main interest will be how to use extra momentum you gain in close quarter fights. The most popular ones that you are using as of right now are phasing through stuff and placing builds through walls, but I don't think that's the ceiling. I think there's a bit of potential in tarping or generally like comp use, like sliding down layers I guess, but I doubt we will be playing COD. The speed you gain out of it isn't enough on flat terrain, and what will really be the difference maker in my opinion is how creative people will be in constructions like houses or generally box fight scenarios with a bit of terrain where you can actually like use this movement that you get where your hitbox is actually a bit weird because you slide and this sort of stuff. Anyway, other than sliding we have the good old peanut butter edits, stuff like this, where we want to be on the side. Even more optimal one would be like strafing inwards, and the even more advanced one would be like, with this new mechanic, sliding into it. But I think most people already know most of this stuff, so let's just get into what you shall do in a box. Okay, now imagine you're just in a box and you're trying to aim duel your enemy. How can movement help you in this case? Well, you just have to try to go as much as to your right as possible, which means to your enemy's left. Now you might wonder why. This is because from your POV, your character covers most of the left side of your screen. Therefore, it will be harder to track someone in that blind spot. From your enemy's POV, therefore, the left side, and your enemy's left is your right. Therefore, run into their right side and just try to laser them. Small annotation, you can change the delay it takes from the sliding to kick in this tab right here. Snipers don't have the ability to headshot, luckily, but the risk of getting padded on by two guys with 4 SMGs, and I admit I'm part of the problem, is still very real. Anyway, you want to move as much as you can. This includes sliding as much as you can, to be as slippy as a slippery eel, and yeah, that's about everything you need to know with movement while doing normal stuff. Once again, a video ends and I hope you learned something new or were entertained. Therefore, I hope to see you in my next video, and that's about it. Yo, we have reached the end card. Looks like these are very nice videos, very nice. Consider subbing for a next video, because I'm kind of freestyling it right now. So fun fact, you didn't actually need to know, but kiwis, the birds, have to lay eggs so big it moves their organs. Like, nature really had no mercy. This bird is basically as big as the fruit it's named after, but lays eggs the size of an ostrich. Of an ostrich egg, not of an ostrich. This is the fact you didn't need to know. Now sub and goodbye.